Hello, everyone. Welcome to Quest Unplayed, where three gamers talk about everything about gaming and have fun together. I'm George, the co host of Quest Unplayed, and this quest is joined by Anthony
Hello, everyone.
and Zach.
Hi.
We have another guest, Charlie.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say to your viewers, I'm sorry that you have me. I went back and I looked at some of the other guests you had, and you literally started with the guy who helped make Portal, and now you've got me. So that's quite a step down in quality. My apologies.
It is not at all. We're gonna have fun together, talking about a lot of stuff in his games. So
What he
yeah,
said.
and before we start, this podcast is sponsored by Minimap, your ultimate gaming hub, and a game companion app. You can sync your games, make your game collections, connect with other gamers and community, enjoy our original content, and basically do anything and everything about gaming on Minimap. And I'll play the little trailer of our own.
Hit the trailer.
Yes, sir.
Hit the trailer. Before we go on, oh Jesus!
Oh.
I actually
There's a
love
loop
it.
time.
Uh-oh.
I was about to say, whoever picked out that music, you knew
I
what
know.
you were doing.
I'm like, wow, that music is pretty. Like
You
I was
know what I
getting
just
down.
realized? I
What?
actually have a bag of coconut.
It does sound like you're like in Hawaii or something. Like
Got a pina colada. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You
What
have
was
a
it,
very
Rob
Nice.
Suntans?
shirt for that music, I think.
Yeah. I literally spend a good majority of my time looking for Hawaiian T-shirts online. Not gonna lie to you, I got a rooster one coming in.
nothing wrong with that.
Your choice.
Okay. So before we actually begin, we'll probably hear a little bit about Charlie. Can you introduce yourself a little bit and what the game is?
Yeah. So several years ago, I was bored, and I decided I wanted to make a video game. I didn't know how to code. I didn't know how to use Unity. I was also in school at the time for computer science, so I kind of figured, if I learn how to do these things, maybe it'll be something helpful to help me get a job, not necessarily in game development, but pick up a couple skills, have some fun along the way. So yeah, I've made a couple games in the past. I've released a couple. This is my third one, actually.
Nice.
The other two, we don't talk about them. They're not very good. Um,
I don't know.
You have to talk about them.
Now we have to talk about it.
Yeah, now you're talking about it. You're gonna.
well,
Love
okay, so
it.
the,
The other one, the
first
other two
one,
we don't talk about.
the first one was an auto battler because I'm a big fan of teamfight tactics. I don't know if you guys have played that. So it's sort of like a single player version of that. The game was too hard. And that was all the complaints about it, but I didn't care because I like making difficult games. But it turns out you need to sort of cater to your customers or they don't play your game and they leave negative reviews. So that was a lesson learned from that one.
Okay.
The second game was sort of like it was my first foray into trying multiplayer because developing for multiplayer is more complicated than a single player game. That was sort of like Settlers of Catan. It was quite bad. It's called Tile Titans. You can look it up. It's not very good. But yeah, now we have Rogue Rollout. This is probably the first game I'm, more proud of. I put a lot more effort into this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Looks great. I can't wait to talk about it more after we go through the bulletin board waypoint.
So when do you not only you said you like to make hard games, but are you the kind of person that's like when you play a game you just pump it all the way up to where it's like you probably won't make it, or do you play it on the medium level?
To be honest, it's weird. I don't actually play games like that. It's just like when I'm expressing my creativity and wanting to make them, that's what comes out for some reason. I'm actually more of like a MOBA player. I've played tons of League of Legends.
Oh.
I play a lot of like Diablo, Path of Exile, those types of games.
Mhm.
Actually,
Okay.
quite looking forward to Throne and Liberty, which is coming out this week.
Oh
Haven't
yeah,
played
Yes,
an
yes,
MMO in a
yes.
long time, so
Was
I'm
it
actually going to play that.
Throne and Liberty?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a Korean MMORPG that Amazon's releasing here in the West. Comes out this Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around that game too, because many Koreans don't like
Hold on, let me go get my
that.
tea.
But
It's actually funny. Amazon is releasing 2 MMO games this month. That month in October and September.
okay.
Because
Okay.
New World comes out in October on consoles, all
Okay.
consoles.
Okay.
Are we
So
considering that a new game?
for
I thought
console
it was an
players, I guess.
expansion. No.
It is an update, but it's coming to console players. So this is the first time console
Okay.
players can experience it also, since it was OP
Support.
PC exclusive.
Okay.
Oh man,
Okay.
Amazon's getting crazy.
Yeah, we'll see
They
how
are
that
crazy.
expands. Okay, so we will get right into our bulletin board waypoints, the weekly game chronicles. This is where we talk about some fun or interesting game news that happened in the past week or so. The first one we're going to be digging into is everyone has been talking about this. Nintendo is suing Pocket Pair, the developer of Pal World. I think they didn't sue it for their like the copyright. It was more towards
It's patent infringement is what I read.
the patent infringement. So
Wasn't it how they throw the ball?
That's what a lot of people are speculating. I don't know if they actually know yet, though.
Oh, I was about to say. That's
yeah, I think nothing has been confirmed yet because nothing. It wasn't like not all the information is public yet, but a lot of people speculate. Like Charlie said, they think like it's around like the gameplay mechanic, like how they throw the ball and catch the pals. But it was kind of interesting, like how they didn't go for the copyright issue.
It took a while for them to do it too, because
Yeah.
don't forget, Power has been out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So you would thought they would do it in the beginning.
That's what I was thinking too. But I think maybe like they have been gathering evidences to like make a fight they won't lose, or maybe they've been just like waiting to see like how big of a project this is gonna go. But then it turned out pretty big.
I remember
Power-
when it
Power
first
is
came
the
out.
number one, isn't it?
The
On Steam?
number one in terms of
Like the top 10 most popular game on Steam.
Oh, I can look that up. But
it.
I remember when it first came out, I thought they said they weren't going to do that. You guys remember that?
To what?
People were asking, and they're like, "No, we're not going to sue them." But
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
I don't
I was
know.
like, well, "That's weird how that worked out."
they were waiting for the money. They were waiting for the profit.
Some people think that they waited till the heat got off of them, so they weren't being looked at as like, "Ooh, you're so mean, Nintendo." Are we looking at top sellers, or what are we looking at here?
I think most popular that people are still playing. I guess you could call it.
It's 67 as of right now, but
It's a top 100. So
yeah, but I mean, at the moment, I mean, obviously when it was released, it was top one. Like everyone has been playing. I think
Right
a lot of
now-
people are just waiting for the DLC to come out.
This must
they
be
don't do
new on here.
DLCs. They only do updates.
No, didn't they? They announced some kind of expansion or DLC type thing.
Was it paid DLC? Because they usually don't do paid DLCs.
No, it wasn't. Well, I have to look it up, but I think they had like a
Well, now they have a lawsuit to pay for, so they need some more money.
Yeah, they
It's okay. It's fine because they'll get the money from PlayStation.
Yes, it was actually announced during the state of play, and that was kind of like interesting to see how that's gonna go.
It was announced. Yeah,
That game dropped on Game Pass day one too, as well.
it's still there though. Still there.
Yeah, I know it'll be there, but I
Yeah.
mean, they were just like you didn't have to if you had Game Pass to even pay for it. You know what I mean?
So fun fact,
You're
Power
paying for
World
it the other way.
dropped on PlayStation today because PlayStation announced it.
Uh-huh.
But it's not available in Japan.
Oh,
It's
okay.
available everywhere else except for Japan.
Because the lawsuit is happening in Japan, right?
I think that's why.
Yeah, it's two Japanese companies.
I don't know. I mean, Nintendo's gonna win, right? I think.
I mean,
More-
it's like that other lawsuit going on. What was that other lawsuit that happened a couple of days ago about Stellar Blade? There's another company that
Oh
has made
yeah,
Stellar Blade.
yes. I actually read about this. Yes. There's another game company called Stellar Blade, and they're suing what's the name? The Stellar Blade company. I forget.
Yeah, they're suing the Stellar Blade because they believe they stole their trademark name.
Yeah, Shift Up. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways, and Sony, I think they're like suing both of them, right?
It's crazy. Everyone's suing each other.
So what did you have you played Pal World, Charlie?
No, but my 2 cents on this is someone who's making a Yahtzee like game. I really like Hasbro. I think they're a fantastic company. Please don't say me.
That's it. Hasbro's coming for you. I think you're safe. I did when I was playing your demo. I was like, this kind of reminds me of some of the games my mom used to play back in the day, but I'm not too
Yeah,
sure.
the
Like,
actual
with the
game
dice
is
and
called Yacht Dice, which Yahtzee is based off of, and that has no copyrights or trademarks or anything. So
Oh, there you go.
should
There
be
you go.
safe. I'm going to knock
Okay.
on some wood here quick.
Hey, I think you're good.
Yeah. So I think.
But if they come after you, we got your back.
Thank you. I
Back off.
appreciate that.
Back off, Warner Brothers. Is it Warner Brothers? Hasbro. Back off, Hasbro.
Yeah, I think it's
I
Warner
keep
Brothers.
watching people play my game, and every time they get a 5 of a kind, they yell Yahtzee. I'm like, please don't do that.
It took me a bit to understand like what you were going with that. I was like, wait a minute, this is like cards, but with dice. Like I was like, okay, I get it. So I was like, am I winning? But yes, I figured it out. It was pretty cool. But yeah, no Yahtzee. Don't get mad at them.
Right.
Never heard of it.
So as a game developer, I guess I mean, I say like now, like most of the game developers are inspired by another game, obviously, right? Because they are also gamers when they were young.
It's
like
almost impossible to think of something totally unique that hasn't been done in another game. You got to always take elements and try and put your own twist onto it,
Right.
and that's really the best you can do.
I think now like there are like 13,000 games every year that has been being launched. So it's almost like impossible to like have something that is totally original or just completely new that like. So that's kind of I don't know how to take it. I think a lot of people are like having distaste of this lawsuit because Nintendo is such a big like a big company.
Yeah.
And
It's interesting. I was reading comments. It seems people in the West are very anti-Nintendo, and people in Japan are actually pro-Nintendo. They seem to be backing them in this lawsuit. So
I love Nintendo. I just sometimes I don't understand what's going on with them. That they, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, is it really worth suing them for? That's like it's been out for how long? I'm like, come on.
Earlier this year, Nintendo's been on on the horse, like getting everyone. Remember? Well, it was they took down all the emulators.
yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that.
The company was shut down, right?
The company was shut down. They told them you guys shut down.
Yes.
Everything.
So I mean, I don't know. It is.
How dare we play Mario 3? How dare we?
Yeah. So I mean, Pal World did better than like the Pokemon. I forget what the name was, but like there's this Pokemon.
I love Super Mario 2. We were just talking about this. I love that game. What was that? What did you show us? Was that the actual game?
Yeah, I have a small collection of physical games, so this is one of them.
Yeah. Oh, collector also.
Oh, that's dope. I love Super Mario 2.
I like the boxes. It has to have the box, otherwise I don't want it.
It'll probably have resale value too.
Man after Anthony's heart.
Yes, Anthony did get Concord physical copy right after.
Yeah.
So he knows his physical stuff.
I mean, I love my collection. I like to collect stuff. It's
And
like
you're like, this
having that,
game, no one can play it, but I own it.
yeah, but having that physical game, that feeling, it feels good. It's like you
That is
actually own
nice.
it.
That is really, yeah. I remember, I know back in the day, but I remember when we used to go rent games from like this is how old it is, like supermarkets, like the Nintendo games. You just like hold the pack and keep looking at the back graphics before you went home. You're like, can't wait to get this game out. And then, yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
And then by Sunday, you're like, Mom, take it back. I hate it. Ghost of Goblins. Ghost of Goblins. No, I joke. I love that.
That was a hard game.
Like,
Most Nintendo games are hard. I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
maybe where I mentioned before. I like difficult games. That's probably where that comes from.
Mm.
just
Playing
playing
NES
them,
games growing up.
the platformers. Like, son of a... Yeah, that was a good game. He couldn't keep his clothes on though, so it was wild.
So what is your favorite Nintendo game, Charlie?
He's got the physical.
Oh, he has like a whole collection of
Yes,
it.
a whole collection right
Oh
there.
my gosh, he has to choose
Probably
one.
between these two. So we got Wizardry, which is sort of like a blobber RPG type game,
Mhm.
and then Dungeon Magic, which is another RPG. Really enjoy this game.
Wow.
I don't know. There's so many great. I mean, Legend of Zelda. There's so many.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. I was talking about how I kind of miss that old school. I mean, there's games to copy it nowadays, but that old school very first Final Fantasy Nintendo game you could play in the West. It was just so fun
Yeah.
when you got we were talking about, remember the ninja and stuff. I was like,
Yes.
I got a ninja. The wizard just a little guy with a hat. And you're just like, get him.
The character.
And you had your little boat. You're going around the sea, and things are jumping on the boat to fight you. I was like, was
I love
so
when
fun.
games used to come with like giant maps and everything too, and
yes. So you
and
can
then
find
you
your
have
way.
to look good.
for the game.
That was your map. It was no map on the thing. You had to pull out the big plastic map. You're like, I think we're
You need some
here.
graph paper in some games too. That was a good time.
They're so good.
Mhm.
I miss old games sometimes.
Nice. So and State of Play happened today. Oh, not this. Sorry. State of Play happened today. Any like interesting announcements that you guys saw there? I mean, I think Stellar Blade and Nier Automata, the collaboration, the DLC sounded interesting because I know Stellar Blade director. I was there at the opening showcase, but he said he was obviously inspired by that game. So it was kind of like cool to collaborate rather than sue each other. Anyways. Anyway.
Let's be friends.
Yeah, be friends and make something cool together. Kind of sounded like an interesting good thing in the game industry, I guess. Yeah. So that could be some interesting.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Nintendo could have done collaboration with PAL, or that could have been really, really awesome.
Nintendo doesn't know how to share. They don't know how
Yeah,
to collaborate with anyone.
Remember when they were not letting people stream their games? They were getting mad at people streaming their games.
Yes.
They're like,
Especially
how
on
dare you?
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very,
Nintendo took down so many videos on YouTube. Like they don't want people to. Yeah, you don't share it. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, geez, you guys want to play the video game right now? How dare you give us free publicity? Most of the people playing it don't have maybe 4 or 5 people really watching. And then they're like, you're getting money from us. Like, that's not really what's happening here. Most of the people are just thinking this is dope, but okay. I guess we'll stop playing it. But no, yeah, I remember that too. But that is cool that they are getting together instead of suing each other. I agree. That's really nice.
Yeah, so I think seeing these cool two totally different IPs collaborating is very interesting always to see. And so Charlie, if you have a chance to work with or collaborate with another game, what game would you bring into your game?
I don't know necessarily about game, but if I was going to collaborate with someone, I'd want it to be an artist because I'm just not good with art, and literally everything in my games I have to buy from people.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had an artist to work with, we could make anything together. I would love that.
Mm.
I'm a little I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think that the art would be more interesting for me than to mix ideas.
Okay, so is there like a particular like game that you like the art in the game, or is there like a graphics that you liked?
Nah, I mean, as long as the game has an interesting style, like it doesn't even have to be like great looking. Like if you take Balatro for example, it's not really a visually stunning game, but it has a very coherent theme, and it resonates with the players, and everything's very identifiable.
Yes.
So yeah, if you can just come up with something good, it doesn't even have to look like it came out from a AAA studio.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
100% agree on that. Yeah, it's how it's just how it kind of grabs your eye, right? And so, yeah, sometimes I feel like too is they lean so much on the graphics they forget about gameplay or anything like that, and so it's just like a really nice looking turd. I feel like when I'm playing it, I'm like, oh, this looks nice, but I'm not really enjoying it at all. I'm sure we've all played those games like, wow, this is dope, and you get into it and you're like, or I'm kind of fall asleep and trying to play the game. It's not that much fun.
Yeah,
It's hard.
So it's like these a lot of games, especially I think movies too. Like they show these like greatest part of their like whole movie, like only the highlights of the movies, and then when you actually go see it, that was it. That was
the whole movie.
Basically, entire the movie. Like some games are kind of like that too, because like they want to kind of like show off their like graphic or some amazing artwork, and then when you actually go play it, it's not. That was it. That was it. Like you basically played the entire game by watching the trailer. So
it kind of hurts your soul a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And those games are typically expensive too. You have to spend like $40-$50, and then oh gosh, I don't want to play this game anymore.
I was gonna say our game previews back in the day was Nintendo Power and Game Pro or Game.
Do you remember the days of going to Toys R Us and you just flipped the little thing and you would take the ticket if you wanted that game? Like that was all the information you had. Sometimes you weren't even going in ahead of time with like having read a review or
Nope.
Oh, pretty box. I want that one.
I also worked there, so I definitely remember that. And then sometimes you want to tell the kid, like, don't do it, you're not going to like it. But you're like, I want this one, Dad. You're like, okay. You're like swiping it through. Would you guys also like to buy the new Disney movie? That was back when they sold those clamshells. No, but yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. So as far as in the art too, so you pretty much do all your games by yourself is what you're trying to tell us, or is what you're telling us, right? It's like just a one-man shop.
So the story with this game, I mean, let me preface by saying like I don't make games for money. It's not my goal. Like obviously I'm selling the game on Steam, but I'm not trying to get rich and quit my job. I have a 9-to-5 job, which I enjoy very much. So I make games for fun. And when I started making this game, I actually used AI-generated art at first to save on costs because I was just trying to make a fun game, and I didn't think it needed to be, super, visually interesting or grabbing to people. Just as long as it had decent gameplay, people could enjoy it. So I make the game. It has AI art in it, and I am getting the same review from every single person. Really enjoying the gameplay. Am I allowed to curse?
I mean, you curse? Ask
Yeah.
the boss.
Yeah,
Only
go
in
ahead.
Korean.
This is YouTube. I mean, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
This is YouTube.
Only in Korean. No, yeah, you can go.
Only
Yes,
in Korean.
of course. This is YouTube. We're not on like.
Gameplay, fuck AI art. You need to replace this, or I'm not going to play it or buy it or whatever. So then it kind of came to a crossroads where it was like, well, actually, a lot of people seem to really be enjoying the game. Should I shell out the money and hire an artist and replace everything? And eventually I did. So yeah, there's a website called Fiverr. You can always hire people there to do whatever you need. So I went there, hired an artist, worked with him for a few months. replaced all the AI art in the game, and now people are happy. So
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking about it. I was like, I didn't think the cards. You're talking about like the cards when they come up on the screen, right? What they give you,
Yeah.
like, yeah. I was like, I didn't think they were that bad or noticeable. But then you told me you had an artist.
well, I think what you've seen is the finished product, because that was
Yeah.
months ago. That's been
Okay.
replaced. So these are actually hand drawn by an artist now. So
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I would say too, you see the cards, but the main thing you see the most of is the dice and stuff. That's like the majority of the game. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's pretty cool. Was that fun to hire somebody and kind of work with them though, and have that? I know you said you don't really want to back, but having someone do, like, hey, I need you to do this art and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with one person. He did everything. He was really easy to work with. If I ever had an issue with something, because I would give him direction, and obviously it's on him to create something, and he would come back, and sometimes it's great, sometimes, oh, can you change this little thing? And he was totally cool about revising whatever needed to be done. So really easy to work with, and yeah, it was a good experience.
That's pretty
expensive, but good experience.
Yeah. Fiverr can be. I've been there a couple of times, and I was like, "Oh no, maybe I'll do it myself." But yes,
Yeah, I guess it's like your luck to find someone that actually can do the work that you kind of request, and easy to work with, because sometimes people can get like out of hand, or I don't know, frustrated by working with him. And so I think that's also a good thing that you found someone that did all the artwork for you, and it just worked.
Yeah, I definitely got lucky with that.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
it's pretty cool that you were listening to people and you're like, do I want them to enjoy the game? So you said, okay, I guess I'll get an artist instead of using AI.
That's kind of been the experience the whole way. Like when the game first came out, I had what I thought was going to be a placeholder track for the music,
Mhm.
and it was literally a 5-second loop. And I had several hundred people play the game, and no one complained. I was like, well, that's odd. I thought that was going to be like a huge complaint. Like,
you were waiting for it. You're like,
repetitive. You need to change this now. I'm going to kill myself. I was like, okay. Eventually, some people started to, voice up. It'd be great if you can add, a longer track or something, or some variation. And it was the same decision again. Do I want to, like, originally, I didn't want to spend much money on this project. I was just trying to make a game for fun. But then along the way, it kept coming up, am I going to pay someone to do this, or am I going to, take the cheap route? And, I also paid a audio producer to make a track for the game. So that's what's in the game now.
Nice.
Okay.
So yeah, and then translators, and so it all added up. But again, it's fine. It is what it is. Please buy the game. Don't sue me, Hasbro. Thank you.
I mean, but it sounds like you really put some love into it, though. I mean,
yeah, I put a decent amount of effort, and like I said, I don't remember if we were talking about this before we went live or after, but the other games, the other games were, they were a little half-assed. They were, I was just, I didn't care quite as much. But this one, I tried to put a little more love into it and make a product I could be proud of. So
you could say it were learning experiences. That's a good one too.
yeah,
there were learning experiences for my real test.
Yeah. Nice. So did you also find the music producer from Fiverr, or did you find someone?
Yeah, he was on Fiverr as well. We only did the one track together, so it was the one project, but he was easy to work with as well. It's really nerve-wracking too, like when I'm waiting for the delivery of something, to think, am I going to like this? Am I going to hate it? Did I just waste money? But yeah, what he came back with was actually really good, so I was happy with it.
Nice.
That's kind of an interesting thing to think about too. Like, you were ordering it, and then you told him, I'm guessing you told him this is what I like, and just the thought of waiting for your product, like, man, I hope this is good. I hope it's not horrible because that you're like, hey, so I got some notes. Maybe we could work on it. But...
I've had experiences where things didn't come out the way I hoped. So luckily on this project, most things went well though. So
good.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear. So yeah, so anything else you guys want to add for the state of play or the Nintendo Suing Pal world before we move on to the
I just
next
want to let
point?
Nintendo know if they want a hug, I'm here. Come here, Nintendo. It'll be okay. I'll hold you.
I did see one game that was interesting to me. The Lunar remaster. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yes.
yes,
Oh,
I did.
yes, I did.
I was a huge fan of that game. I had the PlayStation version growing up, so definitely interested in checking that out because I love that series.
Yeah, I think I heard people been asking for that for a long time. Like they've been asking it to come. Same with what's the other one that was announced as well? Legacy of Kain, Soul Weaver.
Yes, Soul River 1 and 2.
Oh man, I
People-
miss Soul Weaver. That's been so long.
Yeah,
As
that's
you can
another
see, I
game
didn't
people
watch
been
State of Play.
asking. But yeah, they're making a remaster version, so if people have been asking that for a long time as well.
So they do hear that. I guess they do hear our voices, but they kind of ignore most of them.
I don't know if it's voices or they see our money. They see opportunity, right?
Yeah, I think.
This Lunar kind of does give me like that old school Final Fantasy feel. It looks pretty cool.
I always say that they're doing this because they're trying to set up more PS5 Pro.
Oh god, the PS5 Pro. It's ridiculously expensive.
PS5 Pro Enhance.
Man.
Oh gosh, I hope
that's nothing. It's just, I'll get one tomorrow.
But another game that I'm also looking forward to is Ghost of Yotai. It is the sequel for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, that's getting a sequel, right? Yes.
It's Ghost of Yotai. Looks really great and fantastic.
Yeah,
and of course, PS5 Pro Enhance.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You better get the controller. You don't want to miss out.
Oh, actually, they did announce the controller, but not for that. They actually announced the controller for Fourth Night. A limited edition Fourth Night controller. Well, I think because they're trying to promote it, and then with Fourth Night split screen, playing with local co-op, Lego Fortnite. Wow. But PlayStation would do anything just to get that extra money.
Oh gosh, I just can't wait to hear what the numbers are, the sales figures for PS5 Pros. I just want to know how many they sell.
I think we're gonna be a little surprised, but I need to feed people.
Well, did you see the 30th anniversary edition?
No.
They made it look like the PlayStation Classic.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a bundle. Yeah. That looked pretty cool.
I think it's gonna be over 1,000.
Oh my gosh!
Because I was looking on eBay and people are saying it on eBay. I'll purchase this for you, but I'm selling this on eBay for $10,000.
They're ready to make some money out of that.
Well, I remember
it's only limited. That's why it's only like 4,000 world.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be.
Remember, they said when they're coming out with the PS5 Pro that the base model is going to be $799 or $699 or whatever. That's not going to be the model that with all the other bells and whistles on it. That was just the base model.
Yeah,
and then they have that vertical thing where if you want to use the disc, you got to buy it separate for $80.
Oh my god! Total, it's gonna add up to $1,000 basically with the controller.
I do like the logo on it though. That old school PlayStation logo is dope. Reminds me of the old days. I like that.
But they'll do anything. To try anything. They gotta make the money from their past.
They do have to satisfy the stakeholders and everyone.
I mean, they at least they're not like Atari, who's literally just releasing an old Atari for people to play. I'm like, come on.
Oh, you mean the recent one? Was it Yours Rising?
No, they're. Yeah, did you see the Atari is releasing another console, but it's literally just their old console with a bunch of games on it. Like the
Oh,
Atari
Is it
2600.
like what Nintendo did?
Kind of, yeah. It's like just straight up an Atari, and because when Atari, remember, I can't remember, it was way back when they're like, "Hey, we're releasing a new
Sounds like a
console."
lawsuit in the making, by the way.
Yeah, and I was like, "Console's coming out! Oh my god, maybe Atari's getting back in the game." And then everybody's like, "Console's okay." I'm like, so this time I was excited but there was just a ton of Atari games. That was it.
Okay. But yeah, that's good for. I think we're kind of ready to move on to the companion waypoint.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
This
you.
is where we meet the dev. Charlie, we have been actually talking with you for like over 30 minutes.
Who's
But
the dev?
there's one person. There's one person in this room or in this chat. But anyways, so before we actually
People have to figure out who's the dev. It's gonna be the guy with the duck shirt.
yes, if
I'm the publisher. I don't want to talk about it. It's not a big deal.
You do
the publisher.
like the vibes from the guy from Jurassic Park 1, Newman.
Oh,
I forget
yeah,
his
where he's all
name.
like, "See, no one cares. No one cares." That guy, man. Oh,
oh my gosh. Anyways,
well, he was
So-
kind of dumb. So I already took him. But,
before we bombard you with like a bunch of questions, we'll play the trailer with the music so that people can see that. Ready?
I'm-
Yes, I love the music for this trailer too. So
wish list on November 11th, everybody. Or before that.
Wish list on Steam. Don't sue me, Hasbro.
yes,
Right?
that's gonna be the new. That's gonna
The
be
new model.
Yes.
That would be a hilarious trailer. Don't sue me, Hasbro. Well, your artist did a great job because some of those cards are gorgeous. I'll throw that out there.
Yeah.
I think.
Reminds me
Some,
like
some of them I think are pretty funny too. Like there's one called Lincoln Packs where you can't play a 4 score, because 4 score 7 years ago, and it's literally Abe Lincoln like tossing dice.
I didn't see that one when I played.
I mean, there's probably like over 100 cards. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
no. I was
135 now. Yeah,
Wow.
As a guy who loves playing card games, I literally read them all and just like, which one is it? It takes me forever. But, yeah, I was expecting something to happen too when I did it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take that one because you always feel like there's going to be like there's going to be a back like something might bad happen too. You're like, did I read it right? Okay, I think I read that right. Yeah.
that was one of the first problems I had actually. The first negative feedback I had about the game, the descriptions were too long. And they've since been drastically shortened and reworded and more succinct now, but the text used to be itty bitty because they were, I was trying to put too much detail, and then I realized I kind of have to cut some of that out. So,
wow, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, people don't like to read these days,
I would have been like this, no.
I have tutorials that pop up in the middle of the screen while you're playing, and people don't read them. And then 2 minutes later, it's like, how does this thing work? And I'm like, read.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, I feel like if you play card games, you have to read. Like, there's just you don't know what you're pulling into. Like, if all of a sudden you pull out a card and you're like, this looks dope, and you play it, and you're like, everything goes wrong. You're like, what happened? I'm like, you didn't read it.
You ever see the video of the guy putting the shaped blocks? He keeps putting it into the same hole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is this triangle not going into
the game developer sometimes when people,
You just got to be worried about the guy who gets a tool to make it fit. You're like, what is he doing over there? He's like carving. No, but yeah, you got to learn you got to read on card games. You can't just go willy nilly. You know, that's what I
That is true.
All right. So, can you explain a little bit about the gameplay, the mechanism behind how you play and the story of the game?
Okay, so it kind of started earlier this year. Actually, this project is less than a year old already. I was sitting in a casino in Atlantic City on a slot machine losing money. I was like, I'm having fun, but what if I could have the same type of fun without having to lose money? And it sort of it sort of directed the idea for the UI of the game and some of the sound effects that you hear.
Mm-hmm.
They're very they try and be loud and fun, the type of thing you might hear on a slot machine. The buttons at the bottom, it's kind of reminiscent of a slot machine. They have, if you ever played, what am I thinking of? I can't think of the name. The poker game, video poker. It has the buttons at the bottom that you're always touching to interact with, what's going on the screen.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I want to try and make something like that. What would be a fun game to make? And then Balatro was hot at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, maybe I could make Balatro with dice, something like that. Fun fact, I've never actually played Balatro in my life, not for a minute. I have watched a couple videos just to kind of get an idea for what the game was like. But as the game development went on, it sort of reached a point where, do I want this game to be more Balatro with dice, or am I going to stick and it's going to be more sort of like a roguelike Yahtzee? And I kind of went with the latter, because if you've played the game, you'll notice it's not doing anything too crazy. You're not adding additional dice. You're not changing the face of dice like you probably would if this was Balatro with dice. So it is more, if anyone has ever played Yahtzee growing up and then they come and sit down and play this game, they're going to instantly be familiar with it and know how to play. I actually didn't know that there were more games like this in development. When I started my project, there are actually quite a number of games that are Balatro with dice.
Mm.
So I'm glad I decided not to do that, because now I feel like my game is different from those. So it's nice to stand out a little bit, I guess.
No, yeah, I would definitely say you do. I remember playing the demo, being like, at first I was, like I told you, I was like, what does this mean? And then I started picking up. You're talking about straights and baby straights, and I was like, wait a minute. That's what I first. I was like, oh, four of a kind. I know what that means. So yeah, I think it's definitely stands out when it comes, to a different gameplay. And maybe we should stop saying names. I'm just kidding. But no, yeah. I thought it was pretty cool mixing up the dice with the cards. That was very interesting to me. You know what I mean? So it reminds me kind of like old school backgammon games and stuff like that, where there's several pieces going at once. So I was like, oh, and then you pick cards that give you abilities. I was like, those are pretty legit. I tried to play it again today, but it said the demo's down. So
really,
the demo was down or done?
Yeah, I think it's because I did it. Remember when we talked about the demo a long time ago, bringing it on? I played it immediately. I jumped in there. I was like, I got to see what this is about. Then I tried to play it again today just to kind of, get that flash and everything, so I could. And then it wasn't there.
That's
my time
check
ran out. No, I think it was like a limited time thing. You know what I mean? But I think it's pretty cool, and I think that's the first thing I thought when I played the game. Was like, I feel like I'm in Vegas. Like I'm sitting there. Yeah, like have you ever gone to the Vegas airport where there's all those little stands and they have people sitting there? Like, don't forget, you got a flight coming. That's what I thought immediately.
Machine. They want you to win that $1 million before you go.
Yeah.
I'm not getting on that plane if we win $1 million.
Yeah, they probably want your $20 before you go. More like
before you leave. Yeah.
Oh, it's more than $20.
Yeah, $20 to $100. We would thank you for the tip, $2,200 tip before you
Enjoy your flight.
Yeah, enjoy your flight. Bye bye.
Honey, I thought what happened to the bank account? Well, I stopped at the airport. No, I was feeling good. I was getting fired up. And I'm broke.
Yeah. So, for the game, for those who haven't played, are there stages, or is there like a story? Like, how do you win?
Okay, there's absolutely no story. This is just not Yahtzee. It's yacht dice.
Mhm.
So this sort of goes back to the first game I made, where I like the idea of sort of endless mode games. So this has a score. Typically, in a game of Yahtzee, not Yahtzee, yacht dice.
Yeah, dice.
Um,
Yes.
You play to completion when you've played all of your hands. Once all of your hands are played, you're putting your score together, and you're typically playing against another player, and you're trying to have a higher score than them. In this game, there's no other player. You just have a score requirement that you need to meet, and it goes up every round. And then there is a goal. Like, to beat the game, you just need to win 42 rounds. It sounds like a lot, but a lot of the rounds you'll start to win in like one or two hands. So you just have to roll once or twice. You know, you play a triple for 30,000 points and you've hit the score requirement. So it sounds like a lot, but it actually plays, it takes maybe about 45 minutes or so for a whole run. If you beat round 42 in the retail version, there's an endless mode, and it keeps going up, and there's leaderboards and all that. So, yeah, it's just those are the types of things I enjoy as a gamer. Is like I said earlier, I like to play a lot of League of Legends. I was very high rank in that game, so I'm sort of a competitive person, and I like the idea of competition. So the leaderboard and endless modes, it was right up my alley, and added that for the players in the game.
That's dope. So you pretty much, when you're making the game, you're like thinking about yourself as well, which is something you really like to hear, because I don't think I could make a game unless I wanted to play it as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that after it's done, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go play my game.
I've made so many games, or even like prototypes that get abandoned at some point, and playtesting them feels like a chore. You don't actually enjoy playing them. But this was the first game of my own that I actually kind of enjoy playing it. I don't get I'm not like stressed out having to playtest it. I'm like, oh, this is actually fun. Let me play for a little bit. So I felt like that was a good sign too, that I had something better here compared to other things I've worked on.
I mean, I would say that's a really good sign.
Yeah, that's the smell of success right there.
You're like, man, I'm really enjoying my own game. This is a good idea.
It's certainly better than the alternative, like, this game sucks, don't buy it.
Yeah, but do you like plan to add like multiplayer mode at some point, or?
No, I don't think there would be multiplayer in this. I did add a new game mode recently. It's called Frenzy. It's basically for the crowd who didn't like the 42-round survival type mode, and they thought it took too long. So what Frenzy is you the artifacts that you normally get every round, you're drafting like a full deck of them immediately. And then at the end of that, you play 5 rounds to completion. You play all of your hands. And this is just about to see how high of a score you can get. And there's a leaderboard for that as well. So, the other mode is survival. It's how late of a round can you get to. This is just how high of a score can you make with this deck of artifacts that you drafted. So some people enjoy that too. So
is there going to be anything like secret thing that you don't have to talk about that for the number one player who holds a spot for a while? Like, maybe you'll send them like a pair of dice, or
Paradise.
Like, these are our special dice because you're dope.
There is a contest going on. If people download and beat the demo, they can enter into a raffle on our Discord if they join it, to win a free copy of the retail game. So all they have to do is play the demo, beat it, and you can enter into the raffle.
That's good to know.
Yeah, whoever is listening to this are all going there.
I'm gonna go do that right now.
Don't forget to join the Discord.
Yeah, but yeah, don't forget.
People are complaining that the demo's very hard though, so good luck, I guess. But quite a lot of people have beaten it, so
I think I got to around 35 or something like that, and then I was
that's
just
pretty good.
I was panicking because I was like, "What am I doing wrong?" Because nothing was added up, and I was like, "Oh God, I'm so stupid." I'm over hitting buttons and stuff. So, yeah, but because what you do when you're playing it, at least for me, when I was playing it, I was getting to the point where there was no like external forces making you feel like you're not fighting anybody on screen and stuff, but you're like, "Man, I got to get these points." So you're trying to navigate doing that while you're playing it, and then you get to the point where you're like, I'm not going to have enough points. And then you're just like freaking out, like
you kind of breeze through a lot of the rounds, and then suddenly you're having one round that's not going exactly as planned, and it's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. That's exactly what I said. I was like, oh no,
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, why? But because like I said, I like playing card games. So I play, this whenever I'm playing them and stuff, and I feel like there's no hope to win, I just get super sad. When I look at my cards and I see what's going on, I'm like, oh man, this is not going to work out. So like when you put, because I noticed one thing that was kind of cool is you can bet on what you're going to get, or like you're going to like, I'm going to get this. And if you get enough of that, you can get a pretty decent score of it. But if you don't, like, son of a gun. You know what I mean? Where it's like, do you want to take all these threes? And you're looking at the score, and you're like, should I do it? Yeah. So
that's part of why I really like roguelikes in general. Sometimes you're going to have a run that doesn't work out. Sometimes you're going to have that magical, amazing run that, sticks in your mind, and you look back on the game like, oh, remember that one time I had that and that was awesome. I really enjoy that as a gamer myself, so kind of hoping that's something people enjoy here. And I've already seen that in the Discord. People are like, oh, look at what I'm getting here, this is going to be amazing, and then they have a good time with it. Yeah. But it's not something because of the the RNG, you can't force it, it just has to happen. So
really,
RNG is a huge. I always think about that when I play games with video games with dice. I'm like, this is all RNG. Like, you don't have those physical to roll. You're like, what if the computer hates me? The computer's like, not today, buddy. You're like,
what is it? Was it blowing your dice to get the good luck?
You pick up your mouse. You're like,
oh, that's funny.
This is for Papa. No, but yeah, no.
I do really enjoy actually playing craps at the casino too, so maybe that had something to do with me making this game.
Have you ever won at craps?
I've had winning sessions, yeah.
Oh wow. Phew. I get too nervous around gambling. I'll gamble with my life any day, but when it's money, I'm like, listen here.
My theory with gambling is if you do it for entertainment and you go there with a certain amount of money and that's all you're going to lose and play with, then you can be a responsible gambler and have fun, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're someone who, I don't know, you want to go to Disney World, you got to go pay for airplanes and hotels and then tickets for all that. All of that stuff costs money. If you're gambling, that costs money too, but that's like your entertainment, right? So it's kind of the same thing. And then with casinos,
also make it back.
Yeah, you can actually win sometimes, and then they'll actually comp your rooms and hotels and all that. So, gamble responsibly, kids.
Yeah,
that's gamble. Yeah, if you feel like you have an addiction, no.
Yeah, but I think that
please call this number.
You can think of it as like a admission ticket, like you just pay to you just enjoy whatever. But like unless you kind of go like rogue or just go binge. I don't know.
I can win, I swear.
Well, that's why they serve you free alcohol, because they want you to make bad decisions while you're there.
Yes.
So
So the funny thing about that is, right? So I'm from Wyoming, and my grandma. So Vegas is very close. So it's like a 9-hour drive or 8-hour drive. My grandma and her sisters, right, would constantly be like, they would go to Vegas, but they went so much they had free rooms everywhere, and they knew them, so they would just show up and play the slots. And they come back like, I won $500. I'm like, good job, Grandma. But the whole time they're eating for free. They're staying in hotels free. They're getting drunk for free. You know, it's like that was before texting.
It's a good time.
Grandma would have texted me. I'm like,
good
how are you doing? I'm like, good, Grandma. You winning any?
You know, I think Grandma might enjoy Rogue Rollout. So if you want to introduce her to it,
Yeah, I'll talk to her about it.
What is your favorite dice game, Charlie? Do you have any particular?
Besides your own.
Yeah, besides your own.
are we talking video games or?
No, just a board. It could be board game, any like game that involves.
Do I have anything here to answer my question? No, I don't.
I was gonna say, do you have board games also?
No, I actually I have a friend who does. You know, so he's the one who has to bring it over. Clank is really fun. I like that game. Yeah, I don't know. Pass. I don't know the answer to this question.
Yes. What about you? Do you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
A little bit, not as much as some people.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's pretty cool. Those dice are fun because you never know what you're pulling out. You know,
Anything, you know.
I always ask my friend what side of die do I gotta throw. He's like, you gotta throw 20 side. I'm like, it says 20 on it. I'm like, okay.
Do you have any questions, Anthony?
Oh yeah. So would the game be playable on the Steam Deck as well? If you, let's just say you want to go out and play.
It is. It is. Some people have tested it. They said it's a really good experience. I intentionally didn't add controls, a control scheme to it though, because I feel like regular controls don't match this type of game. Like you should just use the touchscreen. I think it's a much better experience. So a lot of people have played it. They said it's really good. You know, one of the problems, like I mentioned earlier, that the descriptions were too long, so the text was small, and that readability was a little bit rough on the Steam Deck. But now it's in a good place, and yeah, I haven't really heard any complaints with it. A lot of people seem to be enjoying it.
Yeah.
I don't think it will get the official green check mark from Valve because I didn't add the controller scheme to it. But yeah, it's definitely compatible and plays well on it.
I'm not saying, but if somebody gets it, they can just use a touchscreen. They'll be completely fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what people are doing. They seem to like
I feel like that'd be more intuitive anyways than like a controller. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be a very weird game to play with a controller, I think. So it just didn't make sense to have that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It'd take a long time too if you think about it, like clicking over in the crosshair and then hitting A or whatever you would to select the dice.
Yeah.
Click. But
I mean, that's true, but then you think about it. I mean, do you also want to see the game to go on other platforms as well? You think, besides only on PC?
I mean, I considered possibly doing mobile, but I don't like dealing with mobile app stores. It's just a headache, and there's so much garbage on there. Not to say that my game is amazing and better in those things, but you know, it's already hard enough to get your game seen on like Steam, but to get involved in the mobile market, you need like a lot of money for advertising on that.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Just,
Very true. Very true.
It just doesn't seem worth the hassle. So it probably not. It's probably just going to be PC only, I would imagine, but you never know. We'll see.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's true. Never know.
So can you tell us a little bit about the name of the studio, the Peapod?
That's the name of my cat.
Oh, you have a cat.
I just needed a name when I was registering with Valve, and was like, I don't know, Peapod, okay. And I was like, let me just add ink to it because that sounds professional. So
I love that. That's the greatest.
so we've got Peapod ink, you know.
Nice.
That sounds good. Like that's totally professional.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get sued by Hasbro and my cat because you know she's gonna want her cut.
Yeah.
You better be.
Is she around you right now? Is she giving you any looks?
No, she's not in the room, but you know,
Yeah,
she'll want like a couple cans of tuna or something.
I was
Yeah.
about to say,
Amen.
oh, she's
Yeah, you better
Well-
feed her with good food too. Like, if the game starts selling, she's like,
maybe a little catnip. I don't know, depending on how she likes the hard stuff or not.
Yeah. So, any other questions, Anthony or Zach?
I think you asked my questions, didn't you?
Yeah. So I think it was one of the questions that we had is that you're trying to like intentionally make like a Vegas vibe into it, right? With the bright like lights and
Yeah, the neon colors, the sound effects. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I actually do have a question. Because this is your third game, and are you looking at, and not to take the heat off of this game, but are you looking at, now that you've done this, are you going to possibly look at another project in the future?
It's so funny you mentioned that. So, I mean, I do this for fun, right? So when the game is sort of in a finished state already. I mean, it doesn't release till November, and Steam Next Fest is coming up in a few weeks, so it's going to be participating in that. But essentially, the game was kind of done. Like, I might do a few more balance tweaks. I might add a couple more of the artifacts to it. So I've been bored lately, and I'm like, I wonder if I could start a new game. And yeah, I've been like, I don't know, like I'm on the fence. I have ideas. It's a reverse tower defense game, where you kind of move the character or party around, and then when you get to certain spots on the map, it damages the tower, which is the enemy, and you have to go around killing all the enemies on a level to clear it. That's sort of the idea. Do I want to actually spend the time and do it? Probably not. Not right now, at least. I think I need a little bit of a break.
Vacation.
Yeah, something like that. And like I said, I have a 9-to-5 job, so that keeps me busy, and I have other hobbies too. So maybe in the future. But
is your 9-to-5 job like related to development at all, or is it just like a totally different thing?
So I do performance testing for a utility company. So it's sort of like QA testing. The first game I made was so I had something on my resume to talk about during interviews to get a job, and that actually it came in handy because I did talk about that quite a bit to get the job I have now. So the game wasn't a success, financially or on Steam or anything like that, but it taught me a lot of skills with programming and other stuff, and it was definitely a good tool to help me get into the company that I'm working for now. So
yeah,
no regrets there.
I'm about to say, yeah, that sounds like a really good outcome for,
Oh yeah.
For something you're like, it wasn't the greatest game, but it gave you something to,
Yeah, I mean, it was something for a portfolio. So
yeah.
Nice.
So no Rogue Rollout 2 coming anytime soon, or
the DLC?
I mean, I plan to do.
We don't even know the price for it yet, so we can't even say DLC.
I think it's $9.99 USD. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I would like to do. I would like to do additional content for it. Adding more artifacts, stuff like that. One of the main problems I have is I decided to localize the game into 10 languages. So the problem with that is anytime you want to add something, now I need to hit up translators every time there's more text. So it sort of stops me from just spending a weekend and hammering something out and adding it to the game. Now I have to go back and forth with translators and get texts and all that. I mean, I guess I could use AI, and AI is decent for translating text, but then you open that whole can of worms with the anti-AI crowd. They hate anything to do with AI. So I'm afraid of those people. Don't hurt me.
Or your game might say all of these bases belong to us now.
Yeah.
All your bases are ours now. You're like, what? No.
I did actually use AI to translate the game into Russian because I had intentions of hiring a translator, but because of global events, and there's banking issues in Russia, it's actually very hard for me to pay someone who lives there to do this. So I couldn't really do it. So I used AI, and then there were a couple of Russian players in the game's Discord, and I just kind of reached out to them. I said, "How is this?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's mostly good." And they actually volunteered to help improve it. So
Nice.
now I have
That's really
decent
good.
Russian translations for the game. But yeah, like I said, having those is good and bad. It opens the game up in a lot of markets to a lot of people who maybe don't speak English or not English is their first language. So the details of the artifacts are hard to understand. So it's a good and bad thing. It makes adding more stuff difficult, but obviously has good sides too.
I think that's actually really cool that you went that far. As you got a 9 to 5, you're doing a whole nother job and stuff like that. You're making your own game, and you're like, I want to get some extra languages in here so people from other places can play it and enjoy the game. That's actually really neat.
Yeah.
And if you would have known me, I have friends that are Russian. I could have hooked you up.
You have time machine?
No, I don't. I tried to make one. That's what happened to the hair. Doc Brown was wrong. Electricity doesn't help.
So what's like the most difficult part of being an indie dev, or particularly this project?
If you're someone who is trying to make money off of the game, marketing is by far the hardest part. You can make an amazing game, and it's just hard to get people to see it and play it and get your wish list number up and all that. It's definitely, I think most indie developers hate that part of making games. Like we just want to make the games, have people play them, and have fun. Having to make GIFs and videos and post on social media, go on Reddit, all this stuff, we don't want to deal with that. It's easily the worst part. It's probably the hardest part too, because you can make a game that is, let's say, not great, like Rogue Rollout, and then if you have amazing marketing, okay, Rogue Rollout's an okay game. Okay, it's not amazing. I'm not gonna lie to people and be like, you must play a game. Go buy now. It's an okay game. It's fun, whatever. But it's not a 10 out of 10 game. If I'm being honest with myself, the game doesn't market itself. But if I was better at it and put in more time, the game could be wildly successful if I wanted it to be. Because I know there's games out there that are just not great. And I'm not trying to put games down. I'm not trying to say mine are better. They're not. But there are so many games that are not great that do well financially and get tons of eyes on them. And then you have some great games that just no one ever finds out that they exist. Or maybe it takes them a longer time. Like you have Among Us. That game was out for several years.
Yes.
4 years, I think it was.
Streamers randomly picked it up and people started to see it. I was like, oh, this game's amazing. It took years for that game to take off. So marketing is the worst part. I hate it. That's it. Don't sue me, Hasbro.
What's funny is I don't know if every dev said the same thing you are, but like a good chunk of them, at least 2 out of the 5 devs we have now, have all said marketing was the toughest part. I know Copycat said that as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the least fun part too. I mean, for me, the creative process, like when you're just thinking up a game idea, that's actually the most fun part. I would say the second most fun part is it's the ends. It's the beginning when you're thinking of an idea, and it's sort of the end of the project when it's actually in players' hands and you get to watch people play it and have fun. To me, those are the two best parts. Everything in between sucks.
The rest of it's all garbage, but that's dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can get to that part, it's worth it.
Yeah, I guess you have to find a way to reach out to these people so that they can actually start playing, which takes a lot of marketing effort, promotion effort, all that stuff that you hate. So I guess I heard a lot of devs said coding or creating ideas, all that is very, very fun. But then like what, because it's like it's all about timing too, you know, like you can't just like finish your game and then start looking for ways to market. You have to kind of like build
Yeah.
that kind of
You want to do it while
To
you're
do
building your
along the
game.
way.
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
do it along the way, find audiences, people who like to, you know,
You don't
share.
want to do it that way, but
Yes.
if you want to be successful, that's how you have to do it. So
Yeah,
Or do it like 6 years before it comes out. Just like
They
it's
keep
going to be
delaying
the
it.
best game, Cyberpunk 2072. And you're like, wait, what? Didn't they say that 19? What day is it now? And they're like,
I didn't do early access, but I feel like early access is probably a good way to go to,
Mhm.
where you can
Oh,
like if I had marketed this as early access, it's basically a 1.0 finished game. So it would have the benefit of, appearing to be polished and finished and content complete. So it'd satisfy all those people, but then also give you more time to, build up your wish lists and just get more visibility
that's
onto the
true.
game.
Mhm.
Like I said, I literally started this project this year. This project is probably like 7 months old, something like that. It's relatively quick.
Mhm.
A lot of developers can take, years to actually flesh out a game, and that's good and bad. It's good because if you're marketing during that time, that's a lot of time to build up an audience.
Mhm.
But if you come up with a game quickly, you don't really have that benefit. And if you don't have the money to pay for advertising, you're just going to be at the whims of YouTubers who decided to take you up on your email and redeem your key and make a video. And like I had a couple decent sized YouTubers play the game, and those were big spikes in visibility and all that. So if you want to do it the lazy way like I do, and be okay with that, you have to recognize you're not going to sell millions of copies. You're probably not going to be on the popular upcoming. But if you're okay with that and you have a small size audience and you just want people to have fun playing your game, then there's nothing wrong with that. It's a easier way to do it.
no, that is. Because one thing that I've always thought about is, and I think we've all three talked about this before, is how amazing there's so many indie games out there that just don't get any recognition just because of the marketing side of things it's hit or miss. Plus the flood of games that are coming all out at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There'll be like 40 of them dropping at once, and you never know when that one.
It's $100 to buy a slot on Steam, and then you can release something there.
Oh, really?
To most people, that's
Oh.
nothing, right?
No.
There's no barrier to entry. Anyone can make a game.
Because you think about like back in the day, right? I keep saying back in the day. I apologize, young people. But Nintendo and stuff, when they released a game, they released like one game every like couple of months or so, and then that was everybody's excited to play it. But now there's just a swarm of games, and you can miss them so fast. Like there's I think one thing I've loved about our podcast is talking to, of course, indie devs and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this game?" And I never had. And I'll check it out. I'm like, this game is dope. It's like, where have we been missing this game? And so, it blows your mind, and also gives me an idea of the future. I'm thinking now, marketing.
I think the number is only going to increase because I think feels like more and more people are just going to release more games, I guess. I don't know when that number is going to stop or starts decreasing, but
I actually wouldn't mind if Steam increased the cost to put a game, just to sort of weed out some of the stuff that's on there.
You'd have to actually be like, okay, but what? So you say that, but what would you feel like would be a decent increase to where it's not punishing, but also the person definitely has to want to buy in on the product or buy in on their game?
I don't know. Maybe bumping it up to 500 would be a decent starting point.
Number. That's a number I had in my head. Where that? Twinsies. Got it. No, but I was thinking the same. I was like 500, maybe a grand, but grand is a lot, right? For some people, especially if you are like, say, like a college developer and you're making a free game and you just want to put it out there for like a project or something.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't kill someone's dreams of releasing a game on Steam, but it might also make the developer of Hitler's Sex Party decide maybe this is not worth
Yeah.
I forgot that was a game. No, I know. I forgot that was a game until you just reminded me again. I was like, I remember opening up Steam and I was like,
there's some weird things.
What am I
out
looking
there.
at right now? What's going on? Oh, there, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that the same? Because I actually didn't think about that. I guess that they charge you. I know you kind of looked into maybe mobile. Does mobile also charge for you to release stuff on them, or?
I believe Apple does. You need to pay for a developer account. I want to say it's $100. I don't have one, so I can't confirm. But I know there's a small cost with them. Google, I don't believe there is. I think you can just put up anything on Google.
That makes sense. That's why so many kind of just disappear after a couple months.
Yeah, and there are also so many weird games in Google Store and as well. Yeah,
I used to stream nothing but mobile games. I was like, this one's gonna be fun. And I was like, all right, turn off the stream. this is a normal. We're turning this all off. But,
before I started making games, my dream was I wanted to make mobile gaming great again, and I wanted to make a good game that I could be proud of, that people would enjoy. I wanted to fix mobile gaming because I hate what it is right now. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But it's a game.
They're actually, to be honest with you, some of the games for being a mobile streamer back in the day, like I literally just played all mobile. Even though I played PC as well, but I streamed them because I was so into like gacha and stuff like that. There was a couple games that you actually have to pay for that I did get like keys from them to play. I was like, this is actually not that bad of a game. like
we said, there's just so much stuff that
you gotta weed them out.
Yeah.
And
so
I feel like anybody who's not making a gacha is going to already have the hardest time because that's almost all mobile games are as gacha,
Yeah.
Data's basically following the trend.
Yeah, you have to follow the trend.
If you like MOBAs, because you said you played League of Legends, have you ever played Mobile Legends Bang Bang?
I have played it, yes.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. You don't have to say if you liked it or not. That was my game back in the day. I just want to.
I mean, if I'm gonna play a MOBA, I'd rather play on PC. But it wasn't a bad game.
I used to play it at work whenever I had time. I'd be over there. Like your break's up, and I'd be over there. I'm like, I'm almost done. I'm winning. And so I'd be over there because I'd be playing tank, and I'm like, just leave me alone.
One of my favorite games was called Paragon. It was made by Epic. It was sort of like a third-person MOBA, like Smite, if you've ever played that. And then this little game, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Fortnite. It came out and was wildly successful, and Epic Games was like, we don't need you anymore, Paragon. Goodbye. So they canceled it, and I was very sad about that. But it actually, they were surprisingly nice enough to release all of the assets. And if anyone wants to make a game with these, go ahead. And now I think there's 2 games that are coming out.
And there's one. No, there's 2 that are out.
And what's the other one? Predecessor, Overprime, something like that.
The one that's free that I liked because it's actually doesn't like you don't have to like sign in and make all your own stuff. Is where the heck is it? It's actually on my giant screen of sea of stuff.
I thought it was Overprime.
It's called. It's on Steam actually too. It's a MOBA, so it's kind of weird. It's I think it starts with a D. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'll find it. I promise you. maybe not. Who knows? Yeah.
I think
it's called Predecessor. It's free.
That's what I said.
Oh, you did say Oh, I'm sorry. But the other one is
Overprime.
Yeah, and that one actually wasn't free, and that's why they kind of died. Sorry.
There's a possum in that one.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't. I think you glitched a little bit, so I didn't put. But the funny thing was, the other game was you had to pay to play, or you had to pay for it. Then they released that one for free, and that other one is still around, but it went to free to play because the other game went to free to play. So there's like 2 games with the same assets. So it's kind of annoying.
I mean, I love MOBAs, but I hate people. That didn't come out right.
Yes.
But the teammates and the people in MOBAs are the worst.
I feel you. I feel you too. I play a lot of Wild Rift.
The gameplay is amazing, but who wants to deal with people?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on the people. There's some I really enjoy, but there are definitely people, and it's not necessarily if they're not good at the game. Like you could tell somebody's never played the game before, right? But it's the people that have played the game before and they're actively being a dick. Like I remember one game we lost and our tank was just hot shite. And then I looked at what he bought and he bought nothing but boots. I was like, bro, all you have is boots. I'm like, what are you doing? He was like, I just
you only have 2 feet. What are you doing?
Yeah, it was just boot, 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 boot. I was like, you threw the game. He's like, no, I was trying something new. It's like,
okay, so I guess we would have to like schedule a time where we all play MOBA together. But
let's do this.
Yeah, we can do that. So is
there
anything else you want to like talk about before we go, or Charlie or anyone else?
I would say, is there any way we can get some ducks on your game?
Ducks?
Some duck stuff on there? Because I wore the duck shirt for you.
Maybe so there's dice skins in the game that you can unlock. Maybe
is there?
Yeah. That's in the full version. Actually, no, the demo has 1 you can unlock. But the rest are in the full version.
That's pretty dope.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Because the game is, going to be in Next Fest next month and Halloween's coming up, there's a like jack-o'-lantern dice skin you can unlock.
Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. And you unlock it from playing, right? It's not an item you buy?
No, yeah, you unlock everything for paying. But playing, not paying.
I love it. I
money.
Really love that because
buy the game. That's it.
I miss being able to play games and unlock stuff instead of just buying it. Like you would.
So there's in the full version there's several challenge modes, and by enabling those and beating the game, which is again round 42, you can unlock the dice that way. And there's actually I want to say maybe about 20 cards that you can unlock as well from beating the challenges. So it's quite a lot of free unlockable content that you can unlock playing the game.
Absolutely love that. Okay. Me and you're gonna have a race, Anthony. We're gonna have a race. We're gonna dual screen it. See who gets to 42 first.
We can do that.
Make sure RNG is on your side.
Yeah, that's right. Right. I'm the best at this game, bro. It's RNG. Calm down.
It's funny you mention that because that was something people used to complain about. It was like, oh, this game takes no skill. It's all like you got to get the good cards, and then eventually there's a bunch of regulars in our Discord who have figured the game out more or less. They know all the the way the math works and everything, and it's definitely not. I mean, I guess for a beginner, luck will have a lot to do with it, but as you learn the game, you can get to round 42 pretty easily almost every time.
I think we kind of undersold it a little bit, talking about it. But I think when you think about the cards and the dice, and when you're pulling your abilities, there's definitely a tactical element to it, and it's just basically, even though it's RNG, if you're rolling a certain roll and it's like which one do you want to keep for the points, you got to be kind of smart about that too, because once you do it, that's gone. You know what I mean? So you can definitely undersell your stuff. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong.
Okay, so it is going to be out on November, which?
11th.
11th, right? November. Oh, that's actually easy to remember. 11/11, right? November 11th. And you can wishlist it, play the demo. It's going to be on Steam next list. Yeah.
Totally intended.
So yeah, it was awesome that we were able to talk to you about a lot of stuff. Anything you want to add before we go, Charlie?
No, just this was a lot of fun, and I think, like I mentioned before the show, that this is my first time being on a podcast after having watched podcasts forever.
Uh-huh.
So really cool experience, and you guys are awesome, and thanks for having me.
Well, thank you.
And,
You're awesome
and
too.
sue me, Hasbro.
Yes, don't sue, don't sue Charlie Hasbro.
Please go try the game out on Steam Vex Fest, and then wish list it, and don't sue him, Hasbro.
Yes,
I got
nice. Okay.
That's all the important things right there. Thank you.
Yes,
I got you. I got you. I didn't want you to go out without saying all the other stuff too. You know what I mean?
The episode in a nutshell. Okay. So I will see you guys next week, and
There's the title.
I hope you guys enjoy the game. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Yay!
Thanks everyone for listening. Go play Rogue.
Rogue Rollout.
Over. He fucked it up. Over.
Rogue Rollout. And yep. All right. Thank you.
Hey, we're very human in this podcast. Okay,
Very.
nothing scripted. Nothing scripted. I promise.
Nothing is scripted.
Maybe we should add